Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this prime-time newscast in the English language on Canal the International. I'm called Morinzi at Top Stories. Carnage in a Kondo Titi as suspected separatists of fighters killed 4 children and a teacher on campus this morning at Government Bilingual High School in Kondo Titi. The litany of the horror continues after what happened last year at the Mother Francisca College in Kumba. And a fire outburst this afternoon at the Cliquez neighborhood in Yaoundé has ravaged over 10 shops. Of flames which broke out at about 2:30 p.m. has reduced the shops to ashes. And leaders of the 7 political parties that constitute a platform to ameliorate the electoral code were today banned through a prefectural order from presenting their report on the process. Those were major stories. Details right ahead. Carnage in a Kondo Titi as suspected separatist fighters killed 4 students and a teacher on campus this morning at Government Bilingual High School, a Kondo Titi in Dian Division, southwest region of Cameroon. According to reports from locals, the alleged separatist fighters attacked the school hours and fired gunshots. They also used explosives. As we hear the following story with Ines Ondwa Mbala.
This is Government Bilingual High School, a Kondo Titi. Few minutes after the massacre, the school campus and classrooms are all empty with enormous damages recorded. Buildings have completely been destroyed as a result of an explosion of a locally made bomb. Early Wednesday, November 24, 2021, 4 persons were reportedly killed here and several others injured. A female teacher and 3 students died in an attack perpetrated by unidentified gunmen who are said to have stormed the premises of GBHS Kondo Titi, where they spent their night before opening fire on members of the educational community. Few hours after the gunshot, an explosive device was thrown in a classroom, creating fear in the entire school and injuring many students.
Tôt ce matin, aux environs de 7h50, nous avons été alertés par des coups de feu en provenance du lycée bilingue de Kondo Titi. À la suite de ces coups de feu, nous nous sommes rendus compte que les terroristes séparatistes s'étaient déjà embusqués dans le campus du lycée et ont ouvert le feu sur les premiers élèves qui y accédaient. À la suite de cet incident, nous avons enregistré malheureusement 4 cas de décès, dont une enseignante et 3 élèves.
The divisional officer of Kondo Titi, Timothy Aboloa, went to the field to comfort victims of the incidents.
Et en même temps, nous avons tenu la réunion de crise avec nos collaborateurs de défense et de sécurité ainsi que les responsables des établissements scolaires. Au terme de cette réunion, nous avons pris des mesures d'abord pour renforcer notre dispositif sécuritaire autour des établissements scolaires. Nous avons également rassuré la grande famille éducative de Kondo Titi de ne pas céder à la panique afin que les activités éducatives ne connaissent pas une interruption.
Injured students are currently receiving medical attention while a Kondo Titi subdivision is completely shut down.
And the divisional officer of a Kondo Titi reacts immediately after the killing of the students and the teacher at Government Bilingual High School, a Kondo Titi in Dian, a subdivision southwest region of Cameroon. Let's take a listen.
We also recorded 2 major injuries who have been referred to the regional hospitals of Limbe. The 4 other students injured have been taken care in a local health facility in Limbe, Ekondotiti. After the incident, we have deployed our security forces, defense and security forces elements to the field, and they are still working to see if they can get the authors of this barbaric act.
Then we talk about leaders of 7 political parties in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, that constitute the platform to ameliorate the electoral code, were actually banned through a prefectural order from presenting their report on the process and action, with center party authorities are furious as they describe it as an anti-democratic move. More in the following story with Heinz Sencha.
Security planted in their numbers here at the entrance of the Yaoundé Hilton Hotel, with the mission of stopping the leaders of the opposition parties have access to the conference room. Here they are, Maurice Kamto and his CRM militants, leaders of the Social Democratic Front, Cameroon Democratic Union, the PCRN and the other 3 parties of the platform, who all came to present the contextual proposals on the amelioration of the electoral code, making a U-turn. Despite depositing their notification letter for this meeting on November 4th, the divisional officer for Yaoundé 3 this morning sent a notice of disapproval, a decision the party's frontliners have described as senseless and baseless.
I am surprised by the lack of wisdom of Mr. Sous-Prefect. After all what is happening in our country, all the crises we have, exactly because of this type of behaviors, Mr. Sous-Prefect can still commit this type of mistake.
Some have qualified the action as a gross abuse to human rights and the much-talked democracy.
The action I've seen today, we can only say that the country is gradually going backwards to a one-party system. Once more, this is a proof that democracy doesn't exist in our country. Dictatorship is the mode of reign of Mr. Biya and his regime.
Though very much disappointed, the 7 political parties and civil society leaders expressed determination to breach all odds and get to the end of their fight of seeing the Cameroonian electoral code take a new content.
This is just intimidation because this will not hold us, this will not stop us from attaining our objective, this will not stop us from reaching out to all the goals that we enlightened for this project.
And as a sign of their conviction, Tomaino Ndamjoya, spokesperson of the platform, addressed the press by the roadside, unveiling the volume of their works, taking an appointment with the major men and women for a proper presentation in the days ahead.
And the coordinator of the platform for the reconstruction or rehabilitation, reconstruction and development of the Northwest and Southwest regions of Cameroon has said the initiative is on a good footing with different actions being carried out in the regions. He was face-to-face with members of parliament. That was yesterday. He, however, faced a serious criticism from members of parliament. As the end following story with Haisencha.
According to Minister Paul Tasson, coordinator of the Presidential Plan for Reconstruction and Rehabilitation of the Northwest and Southwest regions, the initiative is taking a bold turn.
Many initiatives have been carried out to ensure appeasement and facilitate the implementation of the plan. These are mainly the raising of awareness and popularization campaigns of the plan, which we have carried out incessantly.
The members of parliament who waited for the presentation impatiently, rebuking the claims for a smooth reconstruction in the midst of serious crisis.
That it is a very difficult thing to construct what was destroyed during war when war is still going on.
A presentation which appeared to many as paperwork, as the people's representatives lament and recall some of the realities on the ground.
You did say in your presentation that the government is shouldering the salaries of CDC and PAMUL for the years of the crisis. You will agree with me that just last month, the CDC workers were to go on strike, but for the timely intervention of the Prime Minister and head of government, that quelled the situation. So, how true is your presentation that the government is shouldering the salaries of the CDC and palm oil worker?
Paul Tasson, however, acknowledged the reigning security challenges, though to him, the situation has greatly improved.
There are still pockets of insecurity and sporadic attacks continue to be recorded in densely populated urban and rural areas. This state of affairs is definitely not the best for the optimal implementation of activities on the ground.
One underlying reminder kept coming up from the reactions of the members of parliament, which is the fact that there is no reconstruction without peace.
Internal displaced persons from the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon residents at the Douala II Council area will be the focus of this year's commemoration of 10 days of activism against violence, gender-based violence, to begin November 25th in Cameroon's economic city, Douala. The regional delegation and female association intend to empower more IDPs so that they stand tall in society, as we hear more in the following story.
The fact that they stay many of them in one room, the landlord is always abusing them.
Pauline Machim has been battling in her association to build the morale and confidence of women who are facing daily trauma after going through all forms of gender-based violence. She weeps for internally displaced persons but has hopes for them if they are given some skills in entrepreneurship.
Women do not speak. They have to break the silence. And the problem is that, as I was saying, if you don't want us to go to court, we will not go to court.
In a press conference November 24 to announce the commemoration of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, which runs from November 25, the delegates for Douala II, Adele Ngon Elat, flanked by other women associations, unveils their program to train at least 100 IDPs in the Douala II municipality.
We thought that to help our IDPs, internally displaced persons, we can give them some training so that to autonomize them.
Empowering them in entrepreneurial skills, the women leaders say is helping them stand tall in society.
So they will learn how to do candles against mosquitoes, how to do balm for massage.
The action is a means for the delegates and her team to strengthen her institution capacity and that of her co-implementing partners. It should be noted the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions, coupled with the COVID-19 pandemic, has intensified key risk factors for violence against women and girls. And that report brings us to the end of this edition of Newscast on Canal International. Thanks so much for watching. We have news in the French language at exactly 19:50 à Leng. She's Len Kanga, but coming up next is the brief for Bobangom now. So me will be back same time tomorrow. Good night.